So, remember all that stuff I said about The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody having mostly solid writing and staying on the rails? Yeah, Sweet Life on Deck wasn't like that. Once again, filmed this review the same day as the other two. I'm actually really proud of how this turned out. It's funny, I like a lot of the points I made. The only thing I'll add is that this was the last review released before the internet reviewing community changed forever. As shortly afterward, there was some controversy around a big site with a bunch of internet critics. Led to a lot of harassment and broken friendships, and then afterward the community was just never the same. But anyway, Starship Tipton, this episode is stupid. I mean, objectively it isn't the worst written, it's not the most annoying. It even has a few decent laughs, but it just summed up more than any other episode how off the wall the Sweet Life series got. And you know what? I rewatched all the episodes last year and it does hold up. The finale especially is one of the best finales in Disney Channel history. But for me, this episode was just a lame excuse to have cheap Star Trek references without really doing much parody. It's the same kind of humor that Danger Things did. And then at the end just shoehorns in that it was all a story Zack made up. And there I said they should have made it clear that this was a story right from the beginning. And there was an episode from later in season 2 that was also fantasy, but made clear that it was supposed to be. And it was the last episode to air before I turned 17, and that is Once Upon a Sweet Life.
Alright, class. This week we will be docking in Germany and visiting the Black Forest.
Is that what Americans call the Forbidden Forest? No, it's a place where many of the Grimm's fairy tales were set. Some good jokes about Miss Tutwiler being a female incel, but then decided to read fairy tales because, you know, high school.
Now, before we read the fairy tales, we need to understand the context of the patriarchal society in which they originated.
Oh god, it's like watching a Lindsay Ellis video. Then London just straight up passes out. That's not falling asleep, she just fainted. And we start our first fairy tale, Snow White, with her as the witch. And of course the mirrors are sassy gay mirror, which is clever, taking something from the show and putting it into the story in a way that makes sense.
You, of course. And I'm not just saying that because you signed my paychecks.
So, does this mirror have enough sentience to buy things? I'm confused. Bailey is Snow White.
Fly away, my friend.
Or maybe she's Princess Fiona given she just killed a bird. Mosby is the hunter.
Hunter, I want you to find a girl.
You sound like my mother.
Mine too. There's a stupid thing involving them talking about killing her when she's right there, but of course he can't do it.
Would you like to help me pick flowers? The roses are in bloom. Come.
Debbie Ryan does a pretty good Disney princess. The jokes aren't always winners, but they at least feel like they're actually trying to stick with the whole parodying Snow White thing. Snow runs off and finds the dwarves, but there's only 3.
Aren't there supposed to be 7 of you?
You're thinking of the 7 stuck-up jerks who live next door.
Yeah, you do one movie 70 years ago and you think you're hot stuff.
Hey, it's still the 12th highest grossing film adjusted for inflation, so who are you to judge? The dwarves force her to become a maid because patriarchy, but the queen realizes that Snow White is still alive.
Bye, Snow. Bye, Snow.
It's off to, well, you know.
Boo! The queen shows up, but we can't make Brenda look ugly, so she just sort of has a wig. She gives her the apple, but it turns out she gave her the wrong one.
Can I see that for a second? But of course.
Now that was a great joke. The dwarves come back and see she is asleep.
Man, it's like a Jonas Brothers concert around here.
The sad thing is that may be more relevant now than when this episode aired. The world was in Bieber fever by 2010, the Joe Bros were old news. They dump her body in the woods, which the thought of that is pretty funny, and then Prince Charming arrives, of course played by Cody.
You should hear the whole band, Beauty and the Beastie Boys.
Boo! He tries to kiss her and gets maced because, yeah, but she forgives him, they live happily ever after, and the queen dies by eating her own poisoned apple. So overall, better than Mirror. But I have to ask this, given that London envisioned herself as the villain, does she have a lot of self-hatred? Like she knows she's not very nice, or did they just want Brenda to overact as the queen? Either way, I approve. Now on to Cody's dream, this one based on Hansel and Gretel.
Come on, kids, keep up!
I hate walking. Can't we just stay home and watch some TV? Old Woman in Shoe +8 is on.
Oh yeah, who's got that reference?
How many times have I told you I prefer to be called Greg? Hey look, it's not my fault Mom wanted a girl.
See, makes the jokes work with these characters. Their father, I guess, I mean, I don't know how a black man has 2 pale white motherfuckers like these two, but with that mustache, I'm not questioning it. He of course ditches them, and Gretel's bread trail is eaten.
Hey! Hey! Shoot! squirrel. Get out of here, you get.
They come across the candy house, and who is our evil witch?
Hello, children.
Oh no, that's just mean. So the story follows the same beats. Hansel enjoys the candy as the witch prepares to eat him. And hey, at least she also acknowledges the benefits of a low-carb diet.
I can't believe you ate the toilet.
And it wasn't even flushed. Hansel is now fat and also probably diabetic, and somehow the clothes don't tear.
And you should really cut down on the sweets. I find that eating in moderation and daily exercise is the key.
I agree, but for some reason people still think it matters on the food you eat. There's some great jokes. This show could still be very, very funny, even when it jumped the shark.
What's that pie in the face? I don't know! Although she is a cutie pie.
Cody, please don't fuck it. Don't believe American Pie, it just makes your crotch sticky. She tells them the witch's plan as they try to run, but Hansel is too fat. The witch returns to find they saw the Bailey pie. They learn that the witch is just lonely and uses child murder to fill the void. So they give her a makeover.
Ugh, quick, someone eat my eyes.
Shut your pie hole!
Boo! They set her up with a squirrel and all ends happily. Finally, it's Zach's dream, this one based on Jack and the Beanstalk. Zach is Jack. And is told to go sell the cow.
Market and sell our cow.
You're calling me a cow?
So he does, buys the magic beans, and of course his mother isn't happy.
For these beans?
Child abuse. Now you know we're in medieval times. The beanstalk grows and Jack goes up.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's what your father said.
I feel so bad for this woman. Every joke with her is that she's alone. He sees that up there is a big dollhouse.
I smell the blood of a hooligan!
Mosby is the giant and London is the goose.
He should cover up that honker.
Honker, are you talking to me? Over here!
Now that was funny. The goose, of course, lays a golden egg. Quick, check for a clue to the second Triwizard task. Cody is a harp. Not much happens in this one. There's some decent jokes.
I happen to be 60 feet tall! Okay, 59 and a half.
But it's pretty short. After finding him, we don't even see him escape. Him and the harp are on the ground. And they don't even cut down the beanstalk. Zach just wakes up. Sort of. Miss Tutwiler notices them all sleeping and just leaves. Okay. It just stopped. So yeah, it's not a great episode. The jokes are hit and miss, and it's clear they didn't have enough time to tell the stories they wanted to tell, given that the last one was cut down so much. But I still like it. The humor that works is pretty funny, the characters match their respective fairy tale counterparts, and the first two stories are paced pretty well. I do think that the Billy and Mandy episode Nursery Crimes is better at satirizing fairy tales than this, but this is still good. Comparing it to Starship Tipton, this episode, first of all, just funnier. Yeah, not all the jokes land, but there aren't many groaners. And even the ones that aren't that bad. And the jokes all come from the characters and stories, not just putting in dumb references. And since we know this is all dreams from the very beginning, it allows us to enjoy the fantasy instead of questioning certain plot points and calling out leaps of logic. It's not a phenomenal episode, but there's enough good humor here to be enjoyable. Well, next time will be Good Luck Charlie, the worst of the episodes I reviewed that month. See you then.
Cinderella. The way the sweet stepsisters make that poorly dressed girl sweep up the locker in the attic. Although after that, the story just kind of goes downhill.